Thank you everyone for joining us this morning. We acknowledge with respect the Lekwungen speaking people on whose traditional territory this host lecture, or this lecture is being hosted from. The First Nations of the Siamese and Esquimalt are now the stewards of this land, and we recognize the Indigenous peoples in this country and beyond for taking care of what's been happening and also keeping people up to snuff with what additional work has to take place. So thank you. I was a little cumbersome there because we have a guest lecturer zooming in from another territory, and so we'd like to acknowledge that there's many borders that the internet crosses and traverses, and so we always like to offer that acknowledgement, but also recognize that people can reflect on where they are in their lives and in their territories in their own. So my name is Kagan McFadden, and I'm the Executive Director of the Victoria Arts Council and the co-lead of Creative Mornings with Leah McInnes. And we're very excited to be hosting this lecture, and I will pass it over to Leah now.
Thank you, Kagan. I'm going to share my screen because I have some slides to thank our, excuse me, to thank our sponsors. Okay, so yes, we are the Victoria chapter of Creative Mornings. Loading. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. So our theme this month is free. When someone is free to achieve their fullest creative expression, they become a beacon for all of us. How will you make space for your own flourishing and that of others so that the world around you might also bend towards freedom? Our Charlotte chapter chose this month's exploration of free, and Livonia Parks illustrated the theme. We'd like to thank MailChimp, our official global partner for marketing. And please do check out The Roadmap. The Roadmap is a beautiful new series created by Hello Sunshine in partnership with MailChimp. This collection highlights the unique journey women entrepreneurs go through as they build thriving businesses and aims to inspire the next generation of upstarts, small business owners, and go-getters. Watch all 4 series now on YouTube. Thank you to the City of Victoria for their ongoing support. Thank you to HCMA. HCMA is an architecture firm that designs buildings, brands, and shared experiences that connect people. So we are, in addition to Creative Mornings Victoria, we are the Victoria Arts Council, and currently we have the Salt Spring National Art Prize Award Winners exhibition happening in our gallery in the Chinatown, Old Town neighborhood of Victoria. So if you happen to be in the region, please do come check out this exhibition. It's on until February 12th. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming our speaker today, Kriss Munsya. Kriss Munsya is a Belgian Congolese-born visual artist currently living in Vancouver, British Columbia. From a young age, Kriss has been exploring art through drawings, photography, and video. His journey started with his long feature film, Us and Them, in 2015, shot on his hitchhiking trip from New York to Rio de Janeiro. Being on the road as a Black male shifted his vision of the world and transformed his approach to art. After having directed his first documentary, Kriss focused on photography and decided to tell his own story of racism and abuse that he was a victim of for a long time. Saying without saying, showing without showing, that is the mantra of his latest project, The Eraser. This project reflects critically on the past to inform transformational offerings for the future. As the protagonist revisits memories to reimagine his past, he tries to erase the dominance of whiteness by transposing Blackness. So I'm going to pass it over to Kriss now.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm happy to be invited to talk about my art, and also I want to thank the Salisbury National Art Prize to have like, I don't know, like acknowledge my art, and it makes me be like seen and valued as an artist. So that's pretty nice. I just thank you for this introduction. I just wanted to like start maybe by telling you a bit where I'm from and how I came to art. So I was born in the Congo, and my parents moved to Belgium when I was 3 years old, and I grew up there. I grew up in Brussels, and I think I always been like really artistic. I always been like drawing, interested in photography and music, but I never did it professionally, like try to do it seriously, because I always thought it wasn't an option, like a livable option. You know, like I feel like when you are um, from an immigrant family in general, like they want you to like achieve like you just want to have a job and just like make a living, and so they don't push you in like stuff like art or something. So I always thought it wasn't something really possible for me, and it took me like, I don't know, maybe 25, 26 years until I just like tried, and then the reception of my art was pretty good, so I was like, maybe I should go for it. And so yeah, I started with video, because that's my long time, my lifetime goal, to be a movie director. And I made a movie, I made a documentary, and then 2 years ago, I think 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, I started a photography. I started to like do photography series about um, the first one was about like social media, and the second one and the last one and the one before that were about like discrimination. Um, so the photo that won the Salisbury National Art Prize is part of a series that I created a year and a half ago, called The Eraser. And the story about it is about like a black man who kind of like um, has been alienated by his blackness and wants to transform all the memories he had in the past, to like shift them to be able to change his future. So it's a really classic topic of Afrofuturism. It's pretty common in the kind of like black, I would say, um, mythology. Um, it's pretty regular, regular topic. You can find it in different like art forms, music, literature, photography, and movies. I don't know. So I, because of the theme of this talk, I wanted to like talk about like the way I create stuff. So um, maybe I think it might be useful for people who like to like write or do anything, video, painting and stuff. So when I was a kid, I was playing soccer, and I was a midfielder, and I was playing the center of the field. And I remember my coach told me something. He told me like, as a midfielder, you have you need to have one obsession, is to know all the time who's behind you. And this is like your obsession all the time on the field. You have to know who's behind you. And I feel like as an artist, I feel like my obsession is to be unique. Like every time I create something, I'm like, oh, am I the only one to create that? am I the only one to like choose that color, choose that composition? And that's my that's my obsession. I always want to like be the first to do what I'm doing, or be the only one to do what I'm doing. It's really difficult because you are always influenced by everything around you. Like you can be influenced by something that you see, so like maybe a conversation people have, and so it's not like it can be achievable to be the only one to do what you do, but sometimes you can some stuff can be related to other art forms or something. And so how to be sure that what you do is like truly unique? That's the question I ask myself so much in my past. And so I don't have a solution for that, but I came to my own personal solution for that. So since I'm really young, I have something that I looked up a little bit, and it's called synesthesia. And the synesthesia is a way to like combine different senses. And so for me, the way I create is like I listen to music, and then with music I will like see something. I will see like a story. I will see something else. And so I never really like questioned it. I thought it was like normal. Like I think until you grow up and you talk with other artists and you like talk about art and how you do your practice, until really late, I was sure that everyone has it. And so until last year, I tried to like 2 years ago, I was like, okay, to study how my creativity comes out of me. And so I was like, okay, I listen to music and I see stuff. And then I was like, okay, maybe to be unique, it's better to be influenced by another art form. For example, if I want to do something visual, I'm not going to be influenced by something visual, because I'm going to maybe copy or take too much from that art form. And so I'm like, okay, if I want to do visual, I'm going to be I want to listen to music. So my brain is going to like transform the music and filter that and transform it into something visual. And so, but that transformation, I will be the only one to have it. So I try to do that all the time. So that's why I decided 2 years ago to not like so, on Instagram, for example, I don't follow any artists, like visual artists. It's been 3 years now that I don't really watch movies or TV shows. I try to just avoid that like visual input, and only like I listen to music. I watch sculpture, architecture, and those stuff. I try to like create stuff through that, or literature. And so, and I feel like when you combine different inputs that are not in your art form, I think when you have that and you transform all of them, you can actually achieve something unique. Um, so, so going from one sense to another one, sound to visual, maybe literature to visual, or visual to music. I think this is one thing, and the other way for me to be sure that what I do is unique is to try to like combine different influences. So, for example, the photo. Oh, I think yeah, my friend has framed the one oh three of the photos of my latest project, and so for those I decided to listen to music and create that, but I also so it's called the eraser, and it's about, I said before what it's about, but it comes from an album from Tom York called The Eraser. It comes from a movie called The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind by Michel Gondry. And also it comes from the Dark Side of the Moon album of Pink Floyd. So I combine all this like stuff to make my own story. And so yeah, so I feel like if you combine different influences to create one thing, you are pretty sure that that thing is going to be unique. So, but that's my way I do it. So I don't know if it's actually the right way to do it, but that's how I do it. I don't know if anyone has like questions.
Oh, thank you, Kriss. That's so fascinating to hear you talk about your process, and also very, very generous of you to share that with us. I just have like a kind of a, I don't know, maybe a simple question just to get things going. I'm just curious, what are you listening to right now?
Like what kind of music?
Yeah, like what's on your playlist right now?
Again, like the song that I keep putting on, like on and on, is actually maybe the cornerstone of my next project. It's called Genetic Bomb, from a band called Animali. They're French, and yeah, it's my next project is about that. So I will keep listening to that song like over and over again.
Very cool. Thank you. For anyone else, please, you can just unmute yourself and ask your question, or you can type it into the chat and I'll read it out.
I have a question for Kriss. Your images have become sort of known as akin to editorial photography. You know, I think a lot of your earlier photographs got a lot of attention through magazines and print work and things like that, because they have such strong composition and are really staged. So did you want to talk a bit about the staging process, or even who your models are, things like that, you know, that make up your photographs?
Oh yeah. So I come from like a graphic design background, and so I studied composition from like the way I study composition is like I knew a little bit about like film editing when I was I think when I started to do that with I don't know how movie maker when I was like 12 to 13. And so what I was doing, I was downloading illegally my favorite movies, and I was cutting the parts where like the composition was really good. And so I was like cutting and pasting all the parts that I like about movies, and I created, when I think when I was 15, 16, I had like, I think it was like 5 hours of just like pieces of like movies that I liked and the composition I liked, and I was like watching these 5 hours like all the time. I was watching it all the time, like in doing, I don't know, like doing my homework, and it was on my screen, and doing like cleaning my room or something. And so it was there all the time. And so that's how I get, I don't know, and that's how I been introduced to like the composition part. But I never really, like, a lot of people said that my photos are like really editorial, like fashion and stuff, but I never really like studied fashion or editorial photography. It's just like the composition is something that I trying to like be like around all the time. So I feel it feels like it's like street photography, you know, like it's not something that you just happen to do, like your nice photo on the streets. You actually look for like certain like signals, and I feel like your eye is trained with that. So it's not because you're a good photographer that you will like be good at street photography. It's actually you need to be like your eye need to be trained, and so that's how I train my eye, like just like watching this like 5-hour video like over and over again.
Wow. Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. You are so amazing, because I'm Belgian also, and I was just discovering this session, so I was attracted to hear what you have to say. And so you came in I don't know when you came in Canada. Could you tell us more about that, and also what was your experience about going from Belgium to Canada, the difference of culture? And also I will quote someone's name that I maybe you know, but not all of you know, MC Solar. So I was knowing this artist in the 90s also. So I'm really happy to hear more about your experience from Belgium to Canada. Thank you.
Oh, nice to meet a fellow Belgian. So I moved to Vancouver when I think in 2019 in January. So it's been 3 years in January, like right now. It took me, I don't know, like my plan was to move here, to move in Canada, get a job, and do graphic design, and trying to like make my way to become a successful movie director. Because I moved to Canada for the movie industry actually, and it took me actually 7 months to get a job as a graphic designer in a tech company, and I worked like I think 7 months there, and just before COVID, I got fired. It was not COVID related. I was just like not good at my job, and then COVID happened, and I benefited from the government money for a few months, and I thought that it would be the best opportunity, because I never had like to. It was the first time for me to not like be worried about like rent and food, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to just like put all the money I have in this project and see what happens. And so I moved here. I moved to be in the movie industry, and I ended up doing like fine art photography. So but I'm going to get back to the movie part soon, really soon. I don't know if it answered your question.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy to hear more from you, and we will connect later, I'm sure, because I'm really happy to see great energies in there. Thank you also for hosting this session.
Thank you.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for the presentation, and thank you for acknowledging the Salt Spring National Art Prize. I'm very interested in what you said at the beginning about your methods and stimulation for creation of your work, and your mention of synesthesia, and then me thinking back to the prize-winning photograph made me connect with it even more deeply. I didn't know that about you before, so I think that's an interesting. It draws up an interesting thing in my mind, which is how much do we need to know about an artist to get the most out of seeing their work. But the other thing is you seem to be very interested in the way the mind influences the creation of a piece of artwork. And I'd just like to ask you, because it's something that I'm looking into myself at the moment, is you said that you're playing this piece of music, which I don't know the French band, but you're playing it over and over again. Is that what you usually do? And do you see it as a kind of meditation that you're doing in order to stimulate the creativity in your mind?
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for the question. Actually, to do the previous work, what I tried to do is to have like to listen to music. I was so when the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, I want to do this project, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it. So I was going for this like I call them creative walks. So every day at noon, I would go for like a walk, and it would be like an hour and a half, and the same walk every day, the same street every day, and I would listen to some music, and I was making a playlist of like something that would just like some sound or just like more, like if you listen to like some like hard metal, I feel like for me it doesn't hit the same spot. Like if I listen to like some I would say some keyboards like really like dreamy keyboards, like those kind of like sounds are like better for my to just visualize stuff. And so what I did is like I did a method that like a few people use a lot in advertising. So I was walking every day, and every time I had like an idea for the project, I would stop and write it on my notes, and then I would continue the stuff. And my goal was to reach 300 ideas and get the like 20 like the best 20 that I would like filter and get the best 20 of them. And so that was my initial goal, but to get 300 different ideas, like it takes like a long time, and I didn't have that time. So I think after 3 weeks, I get to like 175. And so I was like, okay, that's good enough. And then I chose the best that I thought were the best. And sometimes I combine certain of them. And so, yeah, so I feel like in advertising, it's like they have like a brainstorming session when everyone say like ideas, and at the end, someone like choose like the best idea. And so yeah, that's what I did for like 3 weeks before even start touching my camera.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kriss. Do we have another question? Like I said, you can write it in the chat as well, or just feel free to unmute yourself and ask.
Hi, Chelsea here. Thanks so much for this talk and for speaking, Kriss. I really appreciate it. You were talking earlier about how you at first didn't think that being in this creative sphere and doing what you do was sustainable and that you could create a career out of it. Can you talk a little bit more about what that process was like when you were in the shift from being like, you know what, I can't do this, to I can, and this is what I want to do, and I'm going to make this happen. But can you talk a little bit more about what that mindset shift was like for you into just jumping right into it?
Yeah, so actually it comes from like a really difficult story. So when I was how to say that, I feel like I'm an artist, not because I do stuff, but because it comes so naturally. And so when I was a kid, I was just like drawing every time, like everywhere. Like all my notebooks, like for school, they were like full of drawings, and my parents get like so mad all the time. And so I pick up stuff really easily. And so naturally, when I was 18, I thought, oh, maybe I should go to fashion school because I am an artist and I like fashion, and so I should do that. So I went for the entry exam in this really like famous school in Belgium, and I wasn't accepted. And so the exam was like a week, and I wasn't accepted. And I sent like an email to the main teacher to ask like why I wasn't chosen, because I thought I did a good job. And in a really like serious and long email, he explained to me why I would never be an artist, and why like what I was doing was not like interesting. And so he like and at the end he suggested that I go to something different than art. And that's what I did. I thought I was an artist, so I'm like, oh, maybe I should go to the opposite of art. And for me, it was law school. So I've been to law school just after, and
That's hilarious.
and yeah, and I was there like 3 years, and it's like you have like 3 years, then 3 years of a bachelor, and then 2 years of masters. And so after my 3 years of bachelor's, actually I had like an intervention from my friends telling me like, Kriss, you are an artist. You should like, this is not for you. You should like go and do what. And I was so afraid, because I'm like, no, but someone told me that I wouldn't be an artist, and they were like, yeah, just shut up, just like do what you want. And so it was still difficult for me, because I was really sure that it would not work, that I didn't have anything valuable to share. And so for me, like the common ground was graphic design, because it's like still artistic, but you can still have like a decent job doing that. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should do that. So I went to do like a degree like in graphic design in Madrid. And when I came back, I started to like work in graphic design. But like maybe like I think everyone knows here, like graphic design, it's never really it's never really creative. You have like a boss that doesn't know anything about graphic design that will tell you what to do, and so you realize that it's not art. And so when I was there, I was like, that's not enough. I need to like go full on art. And that's when I need, because I was also depressed. I think I was depressed because I wasn't like reaching my not my potential, but I was on the wrong path. And so, and for other reasons, but I was depressed, so I needed like a break. And so one day I took my backpack and I hitchhiked from New York to Brazil, and I was like, okay, I'm going to like try to find my way. And so I had different projects during this travel, and I think after 4 weeks doing this like video project, traveling, and I think actually I was not far from here. I'm in San Francisco, by the way, but I think I was between Reno and San Francisco on the highway, and I was like, I'm going to dedicate all my life to art. That's it. Even if I don't have money, if I don't have anything, I'm just like go full on. And I made myself that promise somewhere not far from here. And from there, I was like, okay, that's me. And yeah, I don't know if it answered your question.
No, that's really helpful. Thanks for opening up about that and sharing it. It's helpful. Yeah.
Welcome.
Oh, hi, Kriss. It's Colette. This has been really interesting. I'm just curious if you feel like your earlier experiences with being told what you can and cannot do, as an artist or as a creative, has helped shape your very careful approach to what you allow to influence you in your art, like not seeing, wanting to see a lot of visual art, or just your approach to how you allow things now to influence you when it comes to creating your art.
Sorry, can you just repeat? Because it was blocked for a few seconds.
Sorry, just with your earlier, your earlier experiences of teachers or, institutions telling you wouldn't be an artist, and, sort of judging you, that way? Do you feel that it's shaped how you allow yourself to create, like how you're very careful about what you allow to influence you, like how you listen to music, how you don't like to see a lot of visual arts to create something very unique?
Oh yeah, I think probably, but I feel like also, so uh, when I was a kid, I was doing professional soccer. So I think it gave me a spirit of competition, and so I started soccer. Actually, my goal was to be the best player ever. And so when I around like 16, when I realized I wouldn't be the best, I just like stopped. I'm like, okay, that's not for me. And I feel like with my approach to with art, it's pretty much the same. I Some people can like do art and have like do the practice and have some projects and some stuff. But for me, that's not really how I work. I need a goal. And so my goal was like, okay, I'm gonna be like, I'm going to get an Oscar of movie directing. That's my goal. That's like the stuff. And the way I'm getting there is gonna be different, but that's how I'm gonna do that. And so it just like gives me the motivation to like wake up every day and do my stuff. And so I think that approach is like really like kind of like toxic when I was like a kid. Like, you know, like you have to achieve something, you have to like you have to score goals, you have to like do that. And so yeah, I feel like that's my way of like yeah, approaching art is like really tangible. You know, I need to see where I'm going. I need to like to be able to like just like measure my my uh advancement. I don't know how to say that in English, but I need to like just like see. I need to be organized. Like for example, while I'm working, I'm creating. Like I need to just like clean everything. Everything has to be like perfectly clean. You have to smell good. Like my computer has to be like no stain or anything, and then I can be messy. I can like just like be messy all the time. But like I need like some structure, and so I feel like I had like my when I was in national team in soccer when I was a kid, my my trainer said something that was really, I think, important for me. He said we're going to like we have like one exercise, and he said we're going to repeat that exercise all over again, like every day for hours and hours. And it was like it's like learning a song on the guitar. You learn that song and you repeat it, you repeat it, you repeat it, you repeat it. And it's like at the end, that song, you will be able we will be able to play it walking, running. You will be able to like play that song and sing at the same time. You'll be able to like play really fast, really slow. So that's like repetition is going to give you actually freedom. And so I think that's how I have this like my mindset about like art is also it's art, but I see it as like something that I can actually work on. And so I don't know. I don't know if it answer your question, but
Oh, that was great. Thank you.
Kriss, is it too early to discuss further what you're working on right now or your next project?
No. It's not too early. So I have two projects for this year. So 2021 was not I didn't do much in 2021. I was like more like promotion, trying to promote myself and get my art somewhere and trying to like make a living out of arts. And so that worked. I get an art gallery, and so that's it's pretty cool. So for 2022, I have two projects. One is about environmental racism, and the goal is to develop relationship with Black and Indigenous communities throughout the Americas, and do an art project with them for like kind of like 5 months. And so for this, I applied for grants for the Canada Council of Arts, and so I have the answer in February. Hopefully, I get the grants, and I have another project in the Congo, and so my previous project called The Eraser was about me growing up in Belgium and be affected by racism. And so the project I'm going to do in the Congo is about the people who see Belgium as like a paradise, like a place that they want to go, but have no idea what they are, what's going to happen there, you know? And so because that's something that I learned when the first time I've been to the Congo, or the only time I've been to the Congo, it's like there people, they have no consciousness of their Blackness. They don't know they're Black. They're Black only when they arrive in Western countries, and like, oh, there is an actual difference of a treatment and stuff. And so they don't see themselves like that. And so I'm going to like try to dig that like topic, you know.
Thank you. That sounds great. Are there any other questions for Kriss about what he's working on now, or his process, or anything like that, or how it relates to free? Karen, yeah, I think.
Yeah, just I suspect you mix with creative people, and some of them will be visual artists. Do you also isolate yourself from their work, and how does that affect friendships?
I don't really have like artist friends. I'm not really part of that world actually, and I don't know how to say that, but I'm not really a fan of art actually. So I'm not a fan. I'm not like a fan of like the movie industry or the contemporary arts. I'm like going to art galleries is not really something I like. I need to create art, but I'm not like an art fan. So my friends in general, they're not like they're not artists in general, you know.
Wow, thank you. I'm sorry for making assumptions there. It's good to hear that from you.
No, yeah, yeah, people in general are pretty like I don't know, because I saw like an interview of Quentin Tarantino, like I think it was on Jimmy Kimmel, and he was playing a game where Jimmy Kimmel had a DVD, and he was reading the bio, the synopsis of the movie, and it was like really like B movies from like Hollywood, like something that people didn't know, and Quentin Tarantino had to like to guess what movie it was, and on the 5 movies he found all of them. And so for a moment I felt bad. I'm like, oh, like if you are an artist, do you have to be like an art nerd or to know everything about art? And I was like, I don't know, but I guess I hope not. Actually, I hope not.
It's something that when I studied, and I think it still goes on, part of the courses that you have to know names, you certainly have to know art history, and I did wonder, you know, why, coming to it from I'm actually a sort of half brain balance, and so I'm a scientist as well as an artist, and I didn't quite understand that, but it's something that there's a constant feeling like, do I know enough? Have I seen enough? Should I be going to more galleries? and kind of regrets if I don't get to see a certain exhibition. So it's good to hear. Good to hear you're talking like that.
Yeah,
thank you.
You're welcome. And I feel like I think since last year, like evolving, I'm not into the art world, but I see it from afar, and I kind of like, maybe I'm wrong, but that's my opinion. I feel like the contemporary arts world is really particular because it's the world of art is like possible through people who are not artists. So, for example, in the music industry, like the record labels, like producers, musician, everyone is a musician. Everyone knows like music. Everyone like has a project about music. Either like you're like the head of a magazine, like music magazine, you know, like about like music. You've been a musician. You had a band, stuff like that. In the movie industry, the same thing. In the dance art world is pretty much everyone's a dancer, everyone knows like dance. But in the contemporary arts, the people who are like curators, writers, like have galleries and stuff, all of them in general never actually they've never been artists, you know. And so it's a really particular world. And so maybe that's why I just like try to like not try to be in it. I don't know. It's I don't know if it's what I'm saying is like true, but that's how I see it.
I just want to thank you for your honesty and yeah, just someone said, I think I said, and someone in the comments, just generous, but you're sharing so much about your story and your thoughts about creativity and your journey to where you are right now, and it's really interesting. So thank you so much. I really want to see your documentary where you did the hitchhiking. Is there like a place online where it can be viewed?
Yeah, I think on Vimeo, if you type my name, you can find like the documentary. The documentary is about indie music. So I was like touring with bands for like, I don't know, like 8 months, like in the States and England and Canada and stuff. But the movie is not available because I got it got produced, so that some like a company bought the rights, so it's not like available for the public. But the documentary I did by myself, so it's out there.
Okay, thank you. That's great. I'm gonna search it out later.
I'm reading some questions. I don't know if people still have questions.
Oh yeah. Do you have daily habits that help you be productive, creative each day? And that's from Carolina.
Daily habits to help me to be creative. Drugs. That's the drugs every day. I'm just kidding. Actually, it's quite the opposite. Like at first, I thought like being creative was like go behind like your you know, like your screen and start to like be creative and do some stuff. And but I just realized like to be creative for me is like I have to set up a right environment, so everything has to be clean. I need to like sleep and eat properly, like not drinking alcohol. It's pretty boring, but I feel like that's how it works. So every time I do something that I think is good, I realized that at that moment I wasn't like going out and late or dancing or like drinking alcohol and stuff like that. So I feel like I think you have to know, you have to try different things, like and when you find the best the best combination for you to be creative, you have to actually to develop that and to like to worship that that combination, I think. Yeah. And yeah, for me it's like walk a lot, eat well, sleep well, and listen to a lot of music.
That's great. Well, thank you, Kriss. There's just about 5 minutes left of the hour, and I think we've gone through the questions. Yeah, but I wanted to thank you again so much for participating in our Creative Mornings, and also we're so honored to host your work as part of the Salt Spring Island National Art Prize. Obviously, it only happens every couple of years, so it's it's a nice event.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, we will have a closing reception at the Victoria Arts Council on Saturday, the 12th of February. And we're very lucky to have 3 artists from the Parallel Art Show, Connie Kuhn, Peter McFarlane, and Susan Benson, speaking in conversation with one another about their work. And that starts at 3 p.m. Again on Saturday, the 12th of February. And it'll be moderated by Ron Crawford, who is the founding director of the Salt Spring Island National Art Prize. So we're really excited to just bring those voices together and honor the exhibition that way just before it closes. And then just a little teaser, next month on Friday, February 25th, we'll be hosting the public art creator or public artist, Crystal Prisbal, who her work is around Victoria. She's a BC artist, and she'll be speaking about or on the theme of monumental. And we're really excited about that because Crystal, if you're not familiar with her work, she created this series of unconnected sorry, oh my goodness. Leah will edit this out later. But Crystal created this series 10 years ago. And these beautiful bronze hands that are holding different objects, and they're scattered throughout Victoria to talk about sort of under-recognized histories that created the culture here in Victoria. To do with the railroad, to do with maritime histories and immigrant histories, all these connected through this idea of the hands and what they hold throughout time. So it's 10 years since that work was initiated and presented, and now Crystal will be able to reflect on that as a sort of small monument to a much larger conversation. So that'll be next month. And then by that time, I'll have a way to figure out a way to talk about it properly. But until then, thank you so much. And as we had mentioned, a video of this lecture will be uploaded before the end of the day. So please share widely and tell your friends about Creative Mornings. We're building an audience over and over again. So it's really nice. So thanks again, Leah, and thanks, Kriss.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Kriss, and thanks, Creative Morning. It was a blessing, and may you receive love from the universe. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Have a great weekend, everybody, and thank you again to Kriss. Yes, please go enjoy your day. Hearts to everyone. Thank you, Olivier. It's always nice to see you here. Okay, take care.